Hi, my name is Stephen Murray, and this is the Knoll, an online gathering place for the people of Knoll Lutheran Church and a place to share our community stories. This season on the Knoll, we've had a lot of stories about people who've found God while traveling outside of themselves. But sometimes God finds us right where we are. In our final story of the season, Amy Runge shares a moment when God reached out to her when she needed it most.
It may not be shocking that I've been in choirs for 2 decades, particularly church choirs. It's just a part of who I am. And growing up in a musical family, I've always appreciated music's ability to not just express words, but express things that are even deeper than words can say. And I also love how, being especially part of a choir, you feel like you're part of something so much bigger than yourself. When you've been in choirs for 2 decades, there are pieces that stay with you, and there are pieces that no matter what choir you're in, no matter what age level, you're going to run into it again. The piece that I want to talk to you about today is called Prayer of the Children. It is a stunning piece that was originally written by a composer named Kurt Bester, and it was arranged by Andrea Klaus. I sang it when I was a kid. I sang it as a teenager. I sang it solo as an adult. And then I came to Knoll, and it came up again. The reason it tends to keep coming up is because it is one of the few choral pieces that's really good for Rachel's Day, which celebrates the story of Rachel and how she was grieving her children and how God came to her and brought her peace. However, the piece was actually written originally, and I want to quote Bester here, out of frustration over the horrendous civil war and ethnic cleansing taking place in the former country of Yugoslavia. It has also turned into a piece that has been sung all across the world, but especially and most poignantly as part of ceremonies commemorating the anniversary of 9/11, the shootings at Columbine, and the Oklahoma City bombing. So it's already a moving and powerful piece that happens to be applied to the story of Rachel. So when it came up again at Knoll, I was very excited. And selfishly, I was also a little bit excited because I didn't have to think very much while singing it, since I've done it very many times for me. I didn't feel like I needed to practice as much. And I was grateful for that because at that point in my life, I was really struggling with my work-life balance, with my mental health. I have generalized anxiety disorder, have been through multiple episodes of depression. And at that point, I needed one less thing to think about. So I was grateful. I think God had other plans for me that Sunday morning because when I came to church, the first thing that was a little bit different was typically I stand in the back row. For some reason or another, I vividly remember Bobby, our former music director, said, "Could you just come to the front row?" so that all the sopranos sang together. I was like, I don't care, that's fine. But I had to be in that spot for what was about to happen. We started the piece. I was pretty much on autopilot, just kind of going through the motions. We get to almost the very end of the piece. The very last stanza of the piece says, "Crying Jesus, help me to feel the sun again upon my face. For when darkness clears, I know you're near, bringing peace again." When the choir sang, "To feel the sun again upon my face," the sun came through the front windows of Knoll and hit me in the face. Autopilot was off at that point, and I was stunned. And I knew that couldn't be a coincidence. I finished the piece barely, And I had to step out of the sanctuary afterwards. I was an emotional wreck. And after the service, I actually called my mom, who is an incredible musician in her own right and also a choral musician. I just told her this story and I said, has something like this ever happened to you? Because this has never happened to me. And it cannot be a coincidence. And while my mom told me, no, something like this hasn't happened, but I have felt moved by the Spirit while singing. I can't imagine any other reason for the sunlight to hit me at that point in the song, when I was struggling so much with my mental health, to remind me that when darkness clears, I know you're near, bringing peace again. I had no idea that while I love singing this piece and bringing comfort to others through singing, I had no idea that God could also have a message for me.
The Knoll is a production of Knoll Lutheran Church in Minnetonka, Minnesota. Pastor J. Rudy, Senior Pastor. Music performed by Matt Cerar and produced by me, Stephen Murray. If you would like to learn more about Knoll Lutheran Church, please visit us on the web at oklutheran.org or check out the live stream of our Sunday worship on YouTube every week at 9:30 Central. If you would like to share your story as part of the Knoll podcast, you can find information on how to get involved on our website. Thanks for listening, and God bless.